In week 7, video 2, I'm going to cover the work for this week. So on your first, for your first assignment this week, your virtual attendance assignment, which is due Tuesday, March 14th at the end of the day, you have a few things that you need to do. You're going to listen to a podcast link. Now, I know I had some podcast issues last week, but this one I've tried it out. It works. It's a different podcast. It takes about 25 minutes to listen to. Covers rhetorical analysis. I think it's a really helpful overview on rhetorical analysis. A couple of notes I have down here. I want you to ignore. It's sort of a study guide, like a tutorial service. So they are trying to get people to sign up for doing like online tutorials, and you don't need to do any of that. Just ignore all of that. And also, when the person who is the narrator of the podcast actually discusses advice on where to place information within your essay, ignore that too. You're going to follow the outline guidelines that are provided by me for your essay. But other than that, it is actually a really great little podcast that covers all of the aspects of rhetorical analysis. And you'll want to listen to that with a notebook, because the podcast has you do a little exercise on something called what they call the soapstone method for identifying rhetorical situation. And that's basically the same thing as identifying rhetorical situation that I covered in the last video. But go ahead, get your notebook out and take some notes so that you are ready to apply this to your main article. So you're going to listen to the podcast, then you're going to write a journal, which is linked as I always have it. It's down here. It's the first assignment under this homework bar. So you're going to link here. You're going to identify those elements of soapstone for your main article. Okay. And basically you're going to identify the rhetorical elements for your own main article. And then what I want you to do is do a prediction on how you think the rhetorical appeals of ethos, logos, and pathos might be used by your authors. Thinking about what this podcaster talks about in terms of audience and what you know about your particular audience. So I'm just going to ask you to think about how ethos, logos, and pathos might be used, what kinds of evidence, how you think people who are experts within this discipline, how they might be convinced. So what kind of evidence would be present? What kind of credibility do these authors need to establish? And should emotion be used at all within your article? So I want you to think about all of those things. Here's your link. Then you're going to have a second journal to write that will be due on the 17th at the end of the week. So now this particular journal is really focusing in on the rhetorical appeals as related to your discipline. Let me go back to the beginning. Oops, let's go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and do this. So I want to go back to that cover folder for week 7. So, as I said, we have the two main objectives. The first was understanding rhetorical situation for your own main article. That's Tuesday's journal assignment is really going to focus in on that. Friday's journal assignment is going to help you identify how writers in your discipline use the rhetorical appeals. So you're going to have a second assignment to do. So let me go back into week 7. You're going to watch this video, and it's about 22 minutes. It's called Writing is Discipline Specific, Introduction to Graduate Writing Series. Now, this, even though it's really addressed at graduate level writing, I think it's a great video for you all for this assignment because what you're reading is graduate or expert level writing. And so I think it works for you, and it has really good information on thinking about writing in different disciplines. So you'll want to watch this video. Then you're going to review this PowerPoint on the rhetorical appeals. Now, this is a different PowerPoint than last week's. This one really does look at logos, pathos, and ethos in depth for scholarly journal articles and what that looks like. So this is a different PowerPoint than last week. So you want to look at that. Then you're going to come down here and you are going to watch this little video. It's a 5-minute video. And it's not me in this video. It's a different person. But so don't be confused, but that's okay. It's the same exact, this is the same exact assignment. So you're going to watch this video. It's going to give you guidance on using your writing about guideline as your second source within the logos section of your essay. And here's the link to getting your writing about guideline. If you don't have it, you definitely need it for this journal article. And then let me go back over to this folder. So then you're going to watch the writing is discipline specific video. You're going to watch the logos analysis video. You are going to review your rhetorical appeals PowerPoint, and then you're going to review your own writing about guideline. Then in your journal, you will describe your article's audience. Who is this audience? Who is reading this journal article? Then identify the types of logos or evidence that your discipline values. This is covered in your writing about guideline. Then you're going to identify how ethos or credibility might be employed in your article. And again, you're going to read your WAG and you're going to try to think about that. Then finally, in this journal, you're going to discuss the importance of using or not using pathos or appeal to emotion in your article. Is pathos valued as an appeal in your discipline? All right, so that's your Friday assignment. And again, going back to our goals, our objectives for the week, this is covering the second objective on understanding how your authors actually use your rhetorical appeals. All right, so your final big assignment is a worksheet. It's due Sunday on the 19th. Now, this worksheet is actually getting you to go to your article, and you're going to pick apart your article for the rhetorical appeals. I'm going to call the worksheet up, and we're going to look at it really quickly together. So this worksheet starts with a series of questions that you need to answer about your article. What is the thesis or the claim? Who is the audience? You notice I keep hammering away at that audience. What types of evidence should be present in this article? You should know this because you've done your journal assignment that was due Friday. What types of evidence is actually present in this article? So what is really there? What should be there and what is there? Then describe the tone of the piece. Is it friendly? Is it authoritative? Does it lecture? So you go and you think about how it's written. Is the author objective? Do you feel like the author knows their audience? Does the text's flow make sense? Is it logical? Does it appeal to your emotions or not? Finally, just your gut feeling. Do you believe this author when you read this article? Why or why not? Now comes your worksheet. You're going to create an MLA citation and put it here. And then you're going to start to fill out the blocks. So the first section is general. Now you're going to work on pathos, and you're going to pull actual examples and quotes from your article. This is to help you when you start to write your paper next week. Here, you're going to cover logos. Here is where you're going to use your app state WAG. Okay? And then you're going to cover ethos. credibility, trust. And credibility is broken into two sections, extrinsic ethos and intrinsic ethos. I will cover those in my next video, my third video for the week. So finally, I want you to begin to write a working thesis statement, okay? And I'm going to cover the working thesis statement in the third video for the week, all right? So this is your final piece of homework for your week 7.